Hey everybody, it's Christina from Creations with Christina and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm really excited to share with you my new renovated craft room. As you've seen in previous video that I was getting and working on redoing my craft room, getting a better furniture or better storage solutions. First thing to note, my wall color is a Behr paint and it is called Urban Raincoat. It's very similar to the color I had before, maybe a little bit of a darker blue. The other color that I had was supposed to be gray and it looked more blue. I think that just the lighting up here definitely makes paint colors look much different. What you're looking at right now is the newest addition. I used to have all of my IKEA/Target units running along this wall. So we put in cabinetry, and I will get up close and personal with this in a little bit. So these are the cabinets. They are painted in a color called Willow. I do not know the name of the company or the name of the paint color, company color, but however you want to say that. It's not like a Lowe's or Behr or anything like that. I just know that it's called Willow. The countertops are a quartz countertop, and when I get into closer, you'll see that they are mostly white with like streaks of gray going through it. Panning over to the middle of my room is now my larger work island, and I absolutely love this. My other island was 24 inches by 48, so it was kind of small, but it was more for a kitchen, and that's what it's been repurposed for. It's gone to a kitchen. And then I have this section over here, which I am not going to spend a whole lot of time going into detail on this. It's not much different. I have my Alex drawers on the right here. I have a little space on the wall there that I put a cookboard that's going to be for family photos. I have my built-in bookcase, which we have already done in a previous video talking about ink and cardstock storage. So I will just give you a quick close-up if you didn't see that, but I'm not going to go into detail. So this is the view from the other side of my room, and I apologize if you see glare off of any of the glass that's up here or the countertops. I have lots of lights on because it is kind of a yucky overcast day. So this is the other side and the other angle to my countertop section, and I have so much workspace over here. I'm so excited about that. And then if I pan over, that's the door that leads back to my storage room. And then that is the staircase that's going down to the second floor. And then we're panning over, and this is the craft island. This is the view from the side that I'm actually crafting on. And then it pans over to my bookcase. All right, so let's go ahead and dig into all of the details here. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this section because I have done previous videos about my ink and cardstock storage. I will get up a little closer so you can see it if you didn't see those videos, but I will link those videos below. All right, well, let's go ahead. I'm not going to show you everything that's in this Alex drawers because it's not all craft related anymore. It's definitely changed into crafting / office supplies. The top drawer of this unit is actually my extra adhesive storage. So I have all of my extra score tape in here, my extra tape runners, my extra dimensional adhesive and glue dots, and then the only thing that's not adhesive related is my refill to my stamp cleaner. So that's my top drawer. This unit I've had for a long time, and it has definitely had many different purposes. But a lot of the times it was just embellishments. The only thing I have in this drawer is just extra liquid adhesive, and I just keep those into those little white baskets. Extra pair of scissors that I don't use very often, but I'm holding on to, and then sheets of adhesive, as well as refills for my paper trimmer. So in the third drawer of my unit is my stamp cleaning drawer, which is baby wipes. That's all I have in here. I'm actually just picked up the Lawn Fawn stamp chamois, so I'm going to try that out. So maybe I can stop using baby wipes unless it really needs to be cleaned. The next drawer is all that I have of ribbon. I destashed my ribbon a long time ago. The only ribbon I have is just some paper tray ink ribbon that I bought for holiday projects last year, and the rest of it is just kind of cord ribbon or cord baker's twine, that kind of thing. And then I have seam binding, which seems to be something I always hold on to and never get rid of. The only other kind of crafty related thing I have in this unit is, of course, my label maker. And then I also have some equipment back in here too. So these drawers, I really like these drawers. The only thing I don't like about them is that I can't get, that's as far as they come out. So I have all this space back here, so you can't always see what's in them. So again, they make great office supply storage, which is what the rest of these drawers are. There's like things like tape and staplers and stuff like that. So I'm not going to get into that because I kind of feel that to be a little bit boring. On the floor next to that is my camera case. So this section I'm not going to get into a lot of detail on because I have shared recently, just within the past month, a video on my my ink storage and cardstock storage. So I'm not going to get into detail, but I will just kind of give you a quick overview of it. In this section right here, which hopefully you can see it's on camera, is my distress inks and my Tim Holtz brushes, my blending tools, my mini inkers, and then my ink refills for distress ink and my paper tray. Nope, not paper tray ink, Stampin' Up! Inks. I have 1.5 caddies here of my storage, Stampin' Storage units, which are my Stampin' Up! Inks. And then over here are my distress inks. That's the Distress Oxide inks. And then down the very bottom here is my cardstock storage, which I did go into detail on how I do that. So this whole section right here is cardstock. I have a binder right here that is my ink swatches. I have a little clear container over here that is my already cut colored cardstock in 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then there's a little basket right there that has my completed cards. And then the very back, which hopefully you can see, is just my 6x6, which I don't have a lot of 6x6 paper pads anymore. Those are just mostly metallic and glitter 6x6 paper pads. Okay, so I apologize that you've got a little glow in the corner here, but that is one of my studio lights that's just mounted to the wall there. That was a recent addition to the craft room, but I have to have it on, otherwise this corner is really dark. I have my Organize More unit right here that has all of my inks in it. And then down below is this little 3-tiered shelf that I picked up at Home Goods. It was the perfect solution for putting my Cricut Maker and my Cameo. So down at the very bottom here is my Cameo. Then the next shelf up is my Cricut Maker. And then I have these 2 metal red tins. That bottom one is empty, and then the one on the second shelf is just electronic stuff for my computer, which now resides on the top of that unit. That's just where I keep my laptop. And when I'm editing and doing any kind of computer work, I just move it over to my island. And then underneath this shelf is where I'm keeping some full stacks of paper. I have my 110-pound cardstock on the bottom. That's the yellow one over there. That's my Nina 110-pound. And then that other package of paper is just some cheap Georgia Pacific that you can get at Walmart, which is what I use for my stamp storage inserts. This is the back side of my island. I did keep my chair that I've always had for many years. It's a counter height chair from I think it's from Pier 1. I've had it for years. And I keep that on this side because this is the side that I'm going to be doing my computer work on. So I'm going to move around to actually my crafting area and my workspace area. So I am now on the fun side of my island. This is my countertop. This is a quartz countertop that it's mostly white with a gray going through it, and then has a little bit of specks of like a brownish cranberry kind of color. I don't even know how to describe it, but I love this countertop. And so we're going to kind of go over what is on my desk. I have this glass mat and I absolutely love this. I have used it a few times so far and it is amazing. And the only thing I'm working on is how to get rid of some of these glares from, not only that one is coming from this lamp, but I also have glare from the light above. So I do have to work on that solution, which I have an idea for. But this is all I'm keeping on here. Like I said, I have my Gemini Junior right here, and then I have this bowl right here that I'm going to be using for scrap paper and when I'm stamping. And then my recent purchase was this lamp right here that I got from Hobby Lobby when they were having a 50% off sale, so I bought 2 of them because, like I said, that corner of my room is pretty dark, as well as the corner that you guys are going to catch up and see towards the middle of this video. Up above my stamp storage, you'll see a TV that's mounted. That's a monitor. And we ran an HDMI cable from that monitor to where my camera hangs from the ceiling so that I can see what I am filming and that I'm always in focus and on camera for when I am working right from this desktop right here. So that is just like the newest addition as far as equipment is concerned for my craft room, other than mounting my studio lights on the walls. This space is so much bigger than the space I had before. Before my space was 24 by 48. So it was a pretty small, it was okay width-wise, but depth, it was very small. So if I put something on one side, it would fall off. This is 32 by 62, and I thought it was going to be too big for this space because, like I said, this is not a very large room, and it works perfectly. I have plenty of space on this side of the island as well as the other side so that I can move around and not trip over anything, and I absolutely love this. This is a 3-drawer unit. It's got one smaller and then 2 deeper drawers. In this top drawer, I keep all of my quick reach. So I have my open package of wipes for cleaning my stamps. I also have my inks. So I have my tape runners. I said inks, but I meant adhesives. I have my tape runners. I have this. If you guys haven't tried the deluxe adhesive from Nouveau, oh wow, I love it. And just, you know, nail file in case you need it. I have my foam tape in here. I can't pull this out any further because the tripod's in the way. But I keep my foam tape, my score tape, and all that kind of stuff in here. So kind of an adhesive drawer along with my wet wipes for cleaning my stamps. And my next drawer, this is a deeper drawer, and this is kind of my tool drawer. I have in here the Boone organizer, which I like it. The only thing is I don't like that it's tilted. So when I'm working and it's in my second drawer, it's hard to kind of see everything in here, but it's fine for right now. Maybe I'll come up with a different solution, or maybe I'll just leave this on my desktop and use this drawer for something else. But it's what I'm using right now. So I have all of my tools, things like my stapler, my tweezers, paper picks, erasers, small scissors. Back there is my big, my corner rounder. I have my distress spray, my mister, and my T-ruler is in here as well. And then down in this bottom drawer is my cardstock for making cards. This is my quick reach cardstock. I have my 110-pound cardstock that is cut to 4 1/4 by 11, so I could just score it and score it and get it ready. I do have some cardstock that's already folded and ready for card bases, and then I have cut cardstock that's my neutral colors, like my 80-pound Nina cardstock, along with craft cardstock and off-white and some grays that I kind of reach for often. And then back here is where I keep my Bristol. I took all of my Bristol package of Bristol cardstock and cut it down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 so that it's ready to roll when I'm ready to use things like my clear brush, my real brush markers, or anything like that. And then back here is my wood grain cardstock, my Tim Holtz wood grain. So when I just keep those into these little clear acrylic holders that I found at Home Goods, which were fairly inexpensive. You know, those acrylic holders can be pretty expensive. So that is that section. So this is the corner part of my desk. I have a small, well, it's a wide drawer here, but I do have a little bench. I did pick this up recently at Target. I have one here, and then I have one at the top of my stairs as I come up. But I do have this bench. I don't normally sit when I'm crafting, but I do when I'm coloring or anything like that. I will sit, or I will use it to kind of rest my leg on it when my feet get tired. So, but I have this nice big wide drawer here. It's a fairly thin drawer, but what I love about it, it's great for storing my acrylic blocks, my stamp press. I have my Misty in here, and then I also have my Score Buddy. So this is a great drawer for that kind of stuff, and it's like the perfect little extension. So I have those things right in hand, because before they were kind of thrown and it was hard to access them. So that is what I keep in that middle drawer. And now we're gonna go ahead and move over to the left side of my desk. So the last section of my island here is just a single drawer unit along with a door unit. The single drawer is where I keep all of my embossing powders. I keep my heat gun in here, my Versamark, my embossing buddy for taking away static for my cards. I have 2 of the little storage containers for storing embossing powder, but mostly I keep my embossing powder in their original packaging. I really don't have a preference. I do like this system. I like this system. It doesn't really matter to me. And then in the back I have my ultra thick embossing powder, which, boy, I haven't used that in so long. It might be time for us to play with that. And then my little spoons that I use when I do keep stuff in the containers. So that's that drawer. So this is my door cabinet, and I debated on whether to put this into a drawer cabinet or a door cabinet, and I really am glad I decided to go with the door. So in here is where I have all of my 3 different paper trimmers. This is my larger one over here, then my smaller regular just throw it on the desk kind of trimmer, and then on the door I just put one of these little sorters that you'd hang in your kitchen, and I have my Tim Holtz cutter right here, as well as my plates for my Gemini, and I definitely think I'm going to get another one of these for one of the other units that I have, but for right now I just have one. And this is a great little unit to store those kind of things and anything small. I did try to put my regular trimmer in there, but it was just too big. And then in the very back of this cabinet on that shelf, there's like a little half shelf back there, and that is my Epson PictureMate printer that I use for printing 4x6 photos, and I believe it does 5x7, but that is back there as well. So this is my workspace. I actually have this whole section all the way down my room for workspace, and I absolutely love that. This does have a quartz countertop on it as well. And I'm just going to quickly just go right down the wall here and show you everything that's on here. So I'm going to start with this little glass unit right here. That's a floating frame. I have a couple of these in my room. Again, there's a glare from some of my lighting on there, and I apologize. Those little stickers that are on there are Post-it notes that have ideas for upcoming videos. So stay tuned because I do have lots of great ideas. That's only some of them. The rest of them are in my notebook. This unit, these little decorative boxes are hat boxes that I got at IKEA a couple of years ago, and I believe I know that I was using them for sewing things, so that actually has they're now empty, so they could be used for future storage. However, they're just decoration for right now. And then as I go down my countertop here, you'll see that I have my Big Shot right here, because I still use that. I have the Gemini Junior, which is new for me, and I will be doing a demo of that very soon. And then I also have a little bowl right here for throwing my dies in, because I have a tendency to lose dies. So that's there. As we go down my wall, you'll see I have a matching lamp that matches the lamp that's on my island. I have my remote controls, a little decorative floral thing, a photo of Ethan and his grandparents from National Honor Society last year. So this right here is a marker storage that is no longer available, and I'm only using one of them right now. It's Studio 3 Solutions, I forget the name of the company, but I do know Organize More does have a version like this, so you might want to check them out if you're looking for something for storing your Copic markers or alcohol markers. I'm storing my Nouveau Creative Pens, which are alcohol markers, and you'll be seeing a review of these very soon. So I'm using that, and it does hold all of the sets that are currently available. On the top here are my Post-it notes that I use for my little idea board that I just showed you, along with removable adhesive, because those Post-its don't always stay, especially with how humid it is up here, and then also a pen for making my notes. I have a little candle burning. I know I kind of stopped burning candles because once before I left a candle burning all night long and came up to my craft room and was like, oh, I can't believe I did that. But this one is in a better location, and I remember that it's burning. On the wall here is a picture of Scott, Ethan, and I, and various, it was actually a trip that we took over the summer, and those are some of my favorite photos, so I have those in one of those floating frames. And then down here on the counter is this little spinny unit that I picked up recently at Hobby Lobby, and I just love the look of the rustic look of it. I'm using it to store my May Arts twine, which is something I use quite often, and then my stickles is what I was going to say, the Nouveau crystal drops in the different types of forms of the crystal drops. And then I do have, this recently came in a kit, so they're sequins and they're just sitting in there. So I just love this. I just thought this was a cute little touch. So next to that is a little sign that I actually had purchased at Joann's a couple years ago, and I use this a lot for, I was using it down in our foyer, and I changed it up for the season. I put like Merry Christmas or some kind of quote on there, but I put that on, I brought it up here because first I needed something to hide, because I didn't like looking at that outlet back there, which has the battery charging, extra battery for my camera. So I kind of use it as a little decorative thing to kind of hide that outlet. All right, so going along my countertop, this is just my traveler's notebook. It's a Chic Sparrow notebook. I was doing bullet journaling for a year, and then I switched over to an electronic bullet journal this year. So this is actually just my notes and stuff that I'm going to be using for card making, and doing sketches and stuff. So there's nothing really exciting in there right now because it's really just started using it. So maybe as I get further along and start developing it more, I will share with you how I'm using it. On the wall is another floating frame. That's my mom, and that's Ethan. Again, that was at National Honor Society induction for Ethan. I have a photo of Scott, Ethan, and I from this past Christmas. That's our Christmas card. And that stand is something that I've had in my craft room for a long time and was using it to hold receipts or something like that, but I'm just using it now for photo storage. And then this little basket right here is actually from Sam's Club, and I purchased this for my kitchen when we remodeled our kitchen last year, or 2 years ago, last year, something like that. I purchased that because I was thinking, oh, this would be great for fruit and vegetables, and it turned out it was too tall for between my counters and my wall cabinets, so it's making great little use up here. I've held on to it thinking I've got to be able to use this somewhere. The very top is giveaway stuff that you guys will see in the future. That's just extra things that I purchased when I was shopping, and they're up there to be given away at different times. And then down on the bottom here is new stuff, which I can't wait to try out. The reveal wheel from Lawn Fawn. And then on this wall here is my letter C that is underneath or kind of hidden behind one of my studio lights. And that is a letter that Scott gave me to hang in my craft room a couple years ago. So that is just a wall decoration. So this is the smallest cabinet in my craft room. It's just a 9-inch cabinet. I got the idea for putting a smaller cabinet because we did this in our kitchen as well. We have a 9-inch cabinet in our kitchen that I use for cutting boards, so I thought, why not have a cabinet that's for cutting mats? So in here's where I keep all of my cutting mats. I do need to work on how to keep them so they're all standing up nice and straight. A great storage solution for keeping all of those things, like my Cricut mats, I believe my big score buddies back here, my silhouette mats, and then also my actual cutting mats. So this next section is a 4-drawer unit. The 2 top drawers are kind of a smaller drawer, and then the bottom drawers are a little bit larger. So in this top drawer, I have it divided into 2 areas. I just used one of these shelf dividers that you can buy for your kitchen or your dresser drawers, and it comes in handy. I've used them in a couple spots throughout my room, but it comes in handy to kind of keep things so they're not sliding all over, especially if you don't have little acrylic holders. Now this is one of the acrylic holders I got from Home Goods. I believe this is the most expensive one, which was $7.99. I kept the tag on it just so I could tell you how much it was. But this is great for catching that kind of stuff. I have this side of the drawers. I've got tags in here. I have envelopes. I've got more envelopes in the back, as well as some Lawn Fawn 4-bar, I think that's what they were called, 4-bar cards that I have in my stash here. And then over on this side, I have just one of these white baskets that I got at Target a long time ago. I think it was a part of a set. And that is perfect for storing. These are the bags, the cellophane bags that I use to keep my cards in. I have like treat bags in here. And then also in the back, I've got boxes for making card sets and then boxes for treats. So that is the top drawer. So my next drawer is just kind of embellishment storage. I've got my felt in here. My favorite is the paper tray ink. However, I think I'm going to try out some of my favorite things felt. I have my Cricut supplies back here for my Cricut maker, and then I have my wood veneers, and again I'm using just one of those dividers to keep everything on separate sides. But I have the wood veneer containers that are just in those jewelry bead organizers that I've had in my Alex unit before, but they're in here. And yeah, so I don't know about you guys, but I don't use veneers as much as I used to. The next section is my Mink storage. In here is where I have my 2 Mink machines, my mini and my large, and then I have all of my foils on this side, again using one of those dividers. The only time I use my Mink at this point is just for when I'm doing specialty framing. I do make word frames. If you guys ever want to see a video on how I do that, I would be happy to. I recently made one for somebody that was retiring, and then I also made some as gifts for Christmas this past year. But I do keep all of the supplies, and my 2 machines fit in here perfectly, and then I have all of my mink rolls over here. So this last drawer, this is the bottom drawer to here. So again, these 2 drawers here are the same, pretty much the same depth. This is my tool drawer. So I have the punches that I did keep are in here, as well as my punch boards, and I have things like my crocodile in here, my fuse tool, and there's like a whole bunch of punches and stuff back there, but I can't open this all the way for you to see because of the tripod's in the way. But that's pretty much all I keep in this drawer. It's all pretty much just tools and things that I still wanted to keep and hold, keep in my stash, because I have reached for them a couple of times throughout crafting. So, all right, we're gonna move on to the next section, which is my favorite section. This section is a 3-drawer section. We've got a regular size drawer and then 2 big deep drawers that I use for really fun storage. So we're gonna start off with this top drawer right here. This is kind of my Tim Holtz metal drawer. I have everything Tim Holtz in here for embellishments and stuff like that. I have held on to these things, which I'm glad I have because I've used them several times. We are Memory Keepers grommets that I think they're like 3/4 of an inch, and I've held on to these, and I've used to use them for making mini albums, but they come in handy for other projects like banners and stuff. I also have this random bag of brads, which I'm kind of glad I held on to because I just got the reveal wheel lawn fawn, so they're going to come in handy. And then of course I have all of my other metal embellishments. I've got more brads here, I've got more grommets back here, full package of Tim Holtz stuff. I've got a bag full of Tim Holtz stuff, and these are all just leftover things from when I used to do mini albums, which I really don't do mini albums anymore, but I like to hold on to these things because you never know when you're going to need them. Drawer number 2 in this unit, I am like, we got to zoom in for this one. This drawer, I love this drawer. Okay, you ready? Ta-da! Stamp storage! I love these depths of these drawers. They're perfect for stamp storage. So I have all of my stamps. I'm storing my stamps the same way I always have in the past, which is with my cheap version of the Avery Elle units or Avery Elle packets. I just use ones that I order from Amazon. I have them sorted by company. I destashed a lot of my older stamps a long time ago, so my stamp storage is pretty much what you see right here. So I have them all separated by company. In the very back here, I have a little basket that has my smaller stamps that came in various kits. Studio Calico, Scraptastic, which I don't even know if Scraptastic is still around. And then over here is how I'm storing my larger size stamp set. So I have things like my Stampers Anonymous, my Tim Holtz stamps. But for my larger size stamps, all I did was I took my job ticket holders that I use for my cardstock storage and cut them down. So instead of buying newer stamp pockets, which I easily could have done, but I had these on hand, and it's something I just kind of wanted to get them together and put into pockets while I was working on storage. So I kind of just did that. Maybe eventually I could go and buy the regular storage, but for now that's what it did. I had a lot of extra job tickets, and I still have a ton of extra job tickets holders, so they came in handy. I just did that even with my Concord and 9th and Gina K. So those are all larger ones, and they fit perfectly. I have everything divided with the shelf dividers or drawer dividers. I have 2 of them in here. So I have my large stamps on this side and then my smaller stamps on that side. So this is the 3rd drawer in this unit, and again, it's another same size as the one that I keep my stamps in. This one is being used for my dies. It's the dies are pretty heavy in here, so I'm kind of keeping an eye on to make sure it doesn't get too heavy. I don't want to break the drawer. So, but for what I have in here right now, it's working fine. I have stamps, or dies rather, that are just sorted. I'm sorting by company right now. So I have things like my memory box and my creative time and lawn fawn, and ones that don't coordinate with my stamp sets. So these are just kind of basic shape. I don't have a ton. And in the very back, I have my supplies for doing my stamp organization with the inserts. That's just the cheap cardstock that I cut down to put in. I have masking tape. I have larger dies on the side over here, and then I have a very large die which doesn't fit on the side. It's a tonic die. I have extra extra pockets for my stamp storage and die storage. I have this tin, or this little acrylic box right here is where I keep my magnetic sheets for my dies, and I just use vent covers that I cut down and use those for my die storage. This is border dies that don't have a real home. In the very front of the drawer is where I keep my embossing folders. Again, I don't have a whole ton of embossing folders, but they kind of reside right there. And then, oops, let's get those in there. And then on the side over here, I have I laminated a whole bunch of extra cards for dividers, so they're ready to go. All I have to do is just label them if I should happen to start using a new company of dies. And then over here is a tonic kit that I recently just showed in a video. And then on the very side is where I'm keeping my stencils. So all my stencils are just kind of tucked on the side there. So we're in the next section here, and this is another 4-drawer section. In the top drawer, I have my marker storage and pen storage and pencil storage. I just, again, using these inexpensive acrylic holders from HomeGoods or TJ Maxx. And I have the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers in here. This middle one has my Gamma-Sol, which I'm going to need to get a refill on that soon. I have my Tombow markers right here. And that's, again, they're just corralled in one of these acrylic holders. And then in the very back is my Prismacolor pencils along with extra Bristol cardstock back there. The second drawer is just embellishments. I use I think this is, everybody's using these for sequins. That's my sequin storage. I have my Nouveau Embellishment mousse in here, and in the very back, which again, I'm banging into the tripod, but I have just a little bamboo box here that has things like my enamel dots. And then this one right here has just additional bells, like my mini action wobblers are back there, and then my spackle, whip spackle, or whatever you call that stuff. So we're going to move into the third drawer of this unit, and this is my watercolor drawer. I have everything from my Pretty Pink Posh inks that they just recently released. That's the watercolor ink. So I have to play with those because I got these during renovations, so I need to start playing with those. My alcohol inks, which I pulled out of storage. These were in storage for the longest time, but I pulled those out, especially because there's the new Lift ink pad, so I'm going to be playing with that soon. I have recent purchase, which is the shimmer powders, which we'll be playing with those. I have watercolor paper. I have paintbrushes in the back here, is all of my paintbrushes. I have a little palette here, watercolors, and then watercolor paper pads. So that's what's in that drawer. And then this very bottom drawer is really simple. I just have a divider in here, and then I have my my foam, which is like fun foam and sheets of foam. I have these. I've had these for like ages because I use them a lot during Project Life for cutting out letters. But this is great also for adding dimension to your cards, which we might do a video on different ways to use fun foam in your card making very soon. We're almost done with the tour here, so we're gonna look at the corner unit, and then I have one more section to show you. So this is the corner section, and in here is where I have my Cuttlebug is in here. Hopefully you can see that. So my Cuttlebug's here. Behind that, I don't know if you can see the into the corner there, but I have my Vagabond back there. I have my die cutting boards right here, sitting in just one of those things that you actually use in your cabinets for putting your cutting mats. My Easy Press for my Cricut is back there for doing vinyl, iron on vinyl, and then down here is where I have acrylic. And down at the very bottom, the bottom shelf, hopefully you can see this, that right there is my sewing machine, and then I have all of my fabric and any sewing supplies are back in that corner. So that's all that's down there. It's, you know, pretty handy little section. I was worried that things were going to get lost in there, but I decided just to put things in there that I probably am not going to use as much or as often as I do others. So this is the last section of my craft room, and this is an angled corner unit, or an angled unit that we decided to go with an angled piece so that when you came up the stairs, because this right here is the door that goes into my storage room, and right at the very top of the stairs. So I decided that I didn't want this like deep wall of cabinetry to look at, so we went with an angled unit, and I'm so glad I went with this. But right next to that is where I have my little step stools, one of those little folding step stools that I use for being able to remount my camera back onto my ceiling. But in here, in this top drawer, is all the letters to my little quote board that's on my countertop, and then down here, I'm gonna buy another one of those little door hanger things so I could stick my scraps of vinyl on there, but I just keep them tucked on the top right now, and then I have all of my rolls of vinyl. I use mostly my vinyl for work related projects, not so much in card making, so, but they needed to stay in my room because, like I said, I do use those for some projects for my other job. So I hope you guys enjoyed my craft room video. That is the complete tour of my craft room. If you wanted to see something in more detail and I didn't cover it, but I think I pretty much did cover everything in detail, just leave a comment below in the YouTube description and I will, do a video or maybe a blog posting on more details. Speaking of blog, don't forget to head over to my blog and subscribe. We have a new weekly thing going on my blog that's called Make, Motivate, Connect, and it's a link-up party, and we're just sharing projects. I post a theme every week and you just link to your blog. It's a great way to connect with others, for me to connect with you. So if you guys want to follow that along, head over to my blog. I'll leave a link to my blog down below, and I will definitely be posting some photos of my craft room. I will link to my cardstock and ink storage that I did a couple weeks ago, videos down below in the description, as well as on my blog if you want to check that out. Don't forget to give today's video a thumbs up. That's how we know that you enjoyed this video, and it lets YouTube know that you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new to my channel, and I will catch you guys all in the next video. Bye!